This is where we left off in the last video, the distrowatch.com Linux Mint page. If I scroll down a little bit, we see some links. This one links to the linuxmint.com homepage. I want to go to the downloads, so moving my mouse over it, I see I've got a couple of choices. I can go to Linux Mint 17.1, LMDE2, all versions. Then there's also documentation and buy CDs. Let's look at all versions. This shows us all the currently supported versions of Linux Mint. We've got 17.1, 17, 13, and 2. Looking at these top three, they're all Ubuntu based, and the names are Maya, Kiana, and Rebecca. So they're all girls' names that end with A. The next release will be something that starts with an S. Looking on the package it's based on, we've got Ubuntu Trusty and Ubuntu Precise. For those of us that are not really familiar with the code names of Ubuntu, we can go to the Ubuntu release page, and we'll see that 12.04 is Precise Pangolin, and Ubuntu 14.04 is Trusty Tar. That's where we get the Trusty and Precise from. Then they've got an end-of-life date of April 2017 and April 2019. Looking over in our Linux Mint end-of-support days, we've got 2019 and 2017. So these match up. This last one is a little different. Version 2 is based on Debian instead of Ubuntu, and the code name is Jessie. And we'll also notice that there's no end-of-support date. So this version is constantly updated. Some people call this a rolling release. With this version, you never need to wipe your hard drive and reinstall it with a new LTS. That's the advantage. The disadvantage is the majority of the support goes to the Ubuntu-based release. Let's look at the LMDE2 download. That will be the Debian edition, and LM is for Linux Mint. So Linux Mint Debian edition release 2. This one has two download links. We've got Cinnamon and Mate, the two different desktops. We'll also see a note here that says, no stable version available just yet. What this means is you can download it and use it, and it may work fine, but it also may crash unexpectedly. And they want you to be aware of this because they know there are still a few bugs in this release. Let's go over to the Linux Mint 17.1 download page. If a friend told you to try Linux Mint and you came to this page without any Linux background, you would understandably be confused. These first three are for the Cinnamon desktop. The next three are for the Mate desktop. Then we've got KDE and XFCE. I mentioned that KDE being a very heavy desktop and XFCE being very lightweight, so I'm going to pass on those. Now I'm down to Cinnamon and Mate. I am going to choose Mate because I believe that it's just a little more light than the Cinnamon desktop, and it's also a little closer to the Windows desktop. So I'm going to choose that one for our download. But we still have three versions of Mate to sort through. The bottom one is called Mate OEM. You would put this version on your computer if you wanted it to be like a brand new computer on the first power-up after installation. People selling computers with Linux Mint pre-installed would use this version. When the buyer turns the computer on for the first time, it asks them for a user ID and password, and it's ready to go. The next version we're going to look at is Mate, an edition featuring the Mate desktop. Most likely, this is the version you will want to download. This next version, it says Mate No Codecs. This version, without multimedia support, for magazines, companies, and distributors in the US. We're not distributing anything, so most likely we would not want to download this version. But I'm going to choose this version because of this little asterisk at the end. It says, missing codecs and extra applications can be installed with a simple click of the mouse. And I want to show that for people that did get Linux Mint from a magazine or the like. Then the version, we have 64-bit or 32-bit. If you don't know what type of computer you have, download the 32-bit. It will work on a 64-bit computer. This brings us to another download page. This one's confirming what we want to download. Release Rebecca, that's 17.1. Mate, no codecs, 32-bit. Again, we see the desktop is Mate. The media type is DVD. We're expected to create a DVD from the ISO downloaded from this page. Here's the size of the ISO, 1.4 gigabytes. Then there's something called MD5. We'll come back to that one in a minute. We also have release notes, an announcement, and torrent. Now I want to pick a mirror to download. And when they say mirror, they mean an exact copy or a mirror image of the original Linux Mint release. I will pick a place in the US. You do not have to pick one from your country. Any of these will work the same. I'm just guessing that one in my country would download quicker because it has less internet wires to travel. I will pick the James Madison University. Clicking that opens up my download pop-up. I can click OK, but I've already done that. Here's my download, Linux Mint 17 Mate, no codecs, 32-bit. I'm going to go to the top of this download page again. And here we see that the size should be 1.4 gigabytes. And we have 1,431,552 kilobytes. That is pretty close, but we're not exactly sure if it downloaded correctly or not. The way to do that is to compare the MD5. To check the MD5, I went to portableapps.com and downloaded this program, Rapid CRC Unicode Portable. I'm going to click on my download and just drag it into this white space. And we see the MD5 here. How I got this was I changed the options. I turned on MD5 in the algorithms, MD5 in the display in list view, and then in the general I have hash type from file name. Now we want to compare this MD5 to the MD5 in the website. And it looks the same. We are 99.999% sure that our download is correct. Now what we're expected to do is make a DVD from this. If you're using Windows 7 or maybe even Windows Vista, you might be able to right-click, and one of the options in this shortcut menu is Burn Disk Image. We don't have that here. So again, I went out to portableapps.com and downloaded this Infra Recorder Portable. Double-clicking that to run it. We have something here, Write Image. I'm going to select our downloaded Linux Mint ISO. And I have a problem with this. I believe it's with my DVD burner. It will not allow me to write anything. There are a few things I can do. I can take this image that I downloaded, put it on a flash drive, and take it to a public library or a friend's house and have them burn the DVD for me. Or I can put this ISO onto a USB stick and boot up from that. And we'll look at how to do that in the next tutorial.